Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at a new Lattafa, and it's Lattafa's Fakhar Gold Extrait. All right, so Fakhar Gold Extrait is from the house of Lattafa. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and you can pick this sucker up for $35 at places like Fragrance Buy. Link will be down in the description if you decide you want to check this one out. Also have a coupon code, save yourself $5 off your first purchase at Fragrance Buy if you decide you want to shop with them. We have ourselves a new flanker to the Lattafa Fakhar with the Gold Extrait. Presentation on this, pretty nice. It's got a nice cardboard box with all these kind of ornate shimmery gold patterns that are on the front, all the necessaries on the back, and it does open up like so. So nothing too extraordinary with the box presentation. It's pretty straightforward. It's a little flimsy, so it's nothing like their Lattafa Prides, but overall it's a pretty nice box presentation. And the bottle is a very familiar looking bottle to the original Lattafa Fakhar. Same sort of shape to it, but it's all pure gold. Has that kind of scale pattern on the back and on the cap there. And the cap on this is a decent weight of some metal in there. There is a little bit of a plastic inside, giving it a little bit of a light, kind of a top heavy feel to it. Lattafa logo sitting on that as well. And the atomizer on this bad boy is pretty decent. Nice long sprays, good puffs on this. So overall for 35 bucks, presentation, pretty nice. So if you were wondering what Lattafa's Fakhar Gold Extrait smells like, you've come to the right place, because I'm about to tell you. Some of the notes listed in this are a cardamom, grapefruit, pink pepper, tuberose, artemisia, solar notes, cashmerean, leather, cistus, and amber. So let me tell you what I get from this fragrance. In the opening, you do get that grapefruit that comes through with some of those spices, but what you really get is this really nice, sweet style of tuberose. Has that style of that bubblegummy style of sweetness, that light white floral kind of sweetness that's going on to it, but it does have that bright citrusy style of grapefruit that's in there, and those spices kind of dance around the edges. You pick up on that sweetness from that pink pepper as well as that cardamom, but they play kind of a secondary role. They sit behind that tuberose, and that's really what comes forward the most. So a very sweet style of fragrance, but it has this kind of nice lightness, this freshness to it as well. As this opens up a little bit more, you do get that solar accord that comes through, as well as a little bit of that artemisia. So you get this nice kind of brightness that comes through with those solar notes, and you also get this little touch of this kind of greenness that comes through, a touch of bitterness that plays against that tuberose. Adds kind of a nice contrast and kind of pulls that sweetness from that tuberose down, so it doesn't become too like overly club banger, youthful style of bubblegummy sweetness. Pulls it down into kind of more of the mature range, but still kind of fun, flirty, playful style of sweetness. Nice balance of those accords that kind of work through, and those spices are still there, kind of singing around the edges, kind of dancing with those green accords as well as that tuberose. As you get towards the dry down, you get a little hint of that leather that starts to poke through, and you get this really nice sort of earthy, balsamic, sweet style of like dry warmth that starts to move in with that cistus. That amber starts to play a role, and it fuses in with that leather. This is not a leather fragrance by any means. It's a very subtle leather note that really sits in behind, but it adds a little bit of warmth and some character to this, and it adds kind of that masculine foundation that you would like to kind of play against that sweetness. So overall, this is a really nice, well-balanced fragrance. It's like wearing a pair of leather sandals, walking along a beach boardwalk with kind of a garden off to the side, and you get that nice kind of breezy air kind of running through with that tuberose and those spices in the air. That's the sort of vibe I'm getting from this fragrance. Now, this is apparently trying to clone 1 Million Parfum, and I would agree with that when it comes to the opening. It very much has that very similar bubblegummy tuberose style of accord that's going on to it. The one thing I do find that this misses from that 1 Million Parfum, it doesn't have that same sort of sunscreen vibe that you get from the 1 Million Parfum. And I find once this gets to the dry down, the Gold Extrait gets a little bit more warm and a little bit more dry, and the sweetness does dial down a little bit, where I find with the 1 Million Parfum, kind of maintains that sweetness all the way into the dry down. So I find this a little bit more warm and dry in the dry down with slightly less sweet. It's still a sweet fragrance in the dry down, but not quite as 1 Million Parfum, but definitely has similarities there, has that style of 1 Million DNA. So I think it is maybe a twist of the 1 Million Parfum, or it's just a direct clone and they just kind of missed a few notes. But overall, if you're looking for that style of scent DNA, this is gonna get you pretty close. Now, when it comes to the performance of Lattafa's Fakhar Gold Extrait, get about average performance off this, about 6, maybe 7 hours off of my skin, and it does project off moderately for about an hour and a half before it does settle back in. Get some on your clothing and you can push that out a little bit more. I did find this made it into the next morning off of my t-shirt, but it was faint at that point. So this is not a beast mode performer by any stretch, but it does perform fairly average. People are definitely going to smell you. It has a really nice scent bubble and a decent sillage for that first hour to 2 hours. And like I said, 6-7 hours off skin, not too bad. Now, when it comes to the where and when, I think Lattafa Fakhar Gold Extrait would be most appropriate. Definitely this is a casual style fragrance, but this is a great date night fragrance, evening out style of fragrance. Has that allure, that sexy, masculine sort of flirtiness that's going on to it. Nice level of sweetness that's mixed in there, but like I said, it kind of contrasts out against that leather, those little hints of those kind of green, earthy tones, that sweet balsamic nature, that dryness that comes through, that gives it this kind of masculine edge to it, mixing with that sweetness. So it's a nice combination of those scent accords that just kind of has that, hey, come smell me sort of vibe going on to it. So perfect for date nights and those evenings out. In terms of seasons, I think this is a pretty versatile fragrance. I've worn this in the summertime here and I pulled this off fairly nice. It has an interesting balance between those bright, fresh, sweet style of notes along with that kind of dry, warm, leathery sort of combinations that's going on. So this kind of has a nice dance between those fresh accords, those warm accords, the dry accords, the sweet accords. Really interesting kind of dance that happens with those ones. So I find this is pretty versatile. In the summertime, the sweetness in this can get a little overbearing if it's super tropical hot outside, but mild to moderate temperatures, I think this will do just fine. This has just got more of that spring vibe written all over it, if you ask me. So spring and fall, I definitely think you could pull this off. The wintertime, I think you could wear this as well. Has that right level of sweetness and that warmth coming through that it would push through the cold fairly well. But again, like I said, spring and fall, I think are the most appropriate, but overall, I think you can wear this all year round and you can get away with it as long as it's mild to moderate temperatures. So my overall thoughts on Lattafa's Fakhar Gold Extrait. This is a really nice fragrance. Has that mass appeal, crowd-pleasing style of scent DNA going on to it. Compliment factor on this is fantastic. My girlfriend absolutely loves this one. The first time I wore this one when she came over, she just buried her nose right in my neck right away, asked me what I was wearing. She really likes the scent DNA of this. And I've had a few people while I was out and about running errands ask me what I was wearing, tell me I smell fantastic. So this definitely has that crowd-pleasing scent DNA to it. You are going to turn some heads if people are smelling you. And like I said, the performance on this is average. This isn't a beast mode performer, as much as we'd all love them to be all beast modes. This one doesn't quite get there, but it is an average performer. Like I said, 6-7 hours worth of longevity, and just get some on your clothing, you can push that out. So not disappointed, nor am I thrilled with the performance, but I do like the versatility of this. Like I said, you can wear this pretty much all year round, mild to moderate temperatures. This is definitely going to work for you. Has more of that spring vibe, but casual, date nights, evening out style of fragrance, this is just going to do the job for you. So if you're into that kind of 1 million style of DNA, if you're like that kind of bubblegummy sweetness with a little bit of that kind of masculine base with that dry leather, a little bit of spices mixed in there, hints of some green, I definitely think you should be checking this one out. That's Lattafa Fakhar's Gold Extrait. And I want to hear from you guys. What Lattafa fragrance should I be doing a review for next? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different recommendations, your different hidden gems, taste and scent profiles. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.